Number
ETN.
9. Yeah, ETN at number 9.
So please tell me Derrick Henry's got to be number 10.
Derrick Henry, number
Okay,
10.
I was going to fucking say.
Yeah, no,
I like Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson with Patrick Ricard.
This is not my rankings. This is ESPN's rankings. They've got Henry at 10. Like, I actually could see with him in Baltimore this year. He could be a top 5.
Okay, please slide on down to number 10 if I end up at the back of somebody's draft.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Please. Friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates, welcome back to this episode of Bets and Buds. We're the Buds helping you catch some bets. I am Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
Welcome back this week, everybody. How you doing, Bobby?
Hey, how you doing? I'm good, brother. I'm good.
All good, all good. We're wrapping up this playoff action here. Actually, finals action in both series.
Yeah, finals
here.
action.
Before we get to those dog days of summer in the sports world here.
Yes, sir.
You know, so let's enjoy this shit while it lasts. Enjoy this shit while it fucking lasts. Shout out to Director Dave for keeping us up on the 1s and 2s. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, add to the comment section. Shout out to True on the track for blessing us with those beats. We're going to dive in this action here and see what's going on in the world of sports here before it dries up like this fucking heat is fucking drying us up right now.
Need to dry up this poison ivy.
Yeah. Fucking right.
All right. So let's dump into some Cardinals action.
All right. Yeah, let's get those Cardinals out of the way there. So.
Okay, so they just wrapped up the 7-game homestand. They went 4-3, split the series against the Rockies, 2-1 against the Pirates. I mean, really, I thought you had to go 5-2 there to make that a successful homestand. I mean, it's middling. Yeah. I know it's just one game, but it makes a big difference at the end of the year.
It may overall, but I mean, right now, like you said, they're a middling ball club.
They
so,
are.
I mean, you use that. That was a perfect word to describe them. They're a middling ball club, and right now, 33 and 34. So I mean, you know, it is what it is. There's 6.5 games out there in second place against the Brewers. Brewers are the class of division right now. I mean, so let's see what happens.
Cincinnati's actually been coming on strong.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz is. I mean, he's a force to deal with. I mean, so let's see what happens. But I mean, right now this is below Cardinal standard. But but if we were any other team in the NL Central, we would be so happy with where the fuck they are right now.
Well,
I mean,
maybe not the Cubs.
Well, maybe not the Cubs. But I mean, yeah, they should be. Cubs, I mean, you know, they've been a beer drinking league for a long time, man. I mean, outside of that, was it 2015 when they won the World Series and they continued in 2014? So, I mean, outside of that whole run, they've been a beer drinking league for a long time.
We actually start a series against the Cubs tomorrow night in Chicago. So
weekend series with the Cubs. That's always a good time. Always a good time.
I mean, that'd be a good take a drive up there.
Oh, yeah. I would love to have a getaway
So, some interesting facts. So, Arenado went hitless today, but he has been coming on strong lately. With today, he's 8 for his last 23. I mean, had a 4-game hit streak that actually snapped today. He got hit in the hand with a pitch towards the end of the game, so might want to
look out for that. Yeah,
keep an eye on that. Yesterday's starter, Miles Michaelis, he's actually his last 6 starts. He's thrown 36 innings, only given up 12 runs. Has kept the home runs down. He's actually pitched really well.
Really good because I mean that was a pitcher's duel against Paul Skeens to start that series with the Pirates.
He had a no-hitter going through 6.
Yeah, I mean they both. I mean that was a pitcher's duel between those two. I mean
it was. Really, so Miles Michaelis is picking it up. Sonny Gray had a good start. Sonny Gray was yesterday. Miles Michaelis was
the day before.
Game.
Yes.
Another thing that happened today: Goldschmidt hit his 348th career home run, which puts him to a tie for 100th place all time in Major League Baseball.
Really? No shit.
With George Foster.
Good on him. Good on him.
Yep, he is a 100 all-time home run hitter.
Yeah, good on Goldie.
And then the other thing was Burleson, big old Burleson.
Yeah, he's been balling.
He actually set a career high the other night with his 9th home run already.
Nice.
So, he's actually turned into a really
he's been a pleasant surprise this season. He really was.
Really nice bat.
Yeah, he's been a pleasant surprise with his bat this season, especially coming from that left-hand side of the plate.
The defense, I mean, it's still suspect.
Yeah, I mean, it's suspect. I mean, hopefully those are things that are correctable, though.
They are.
I mean, the defense is very correctable, and hopefully if you start getting a little bit more continuity with guys playing in the same position.
Right, same positions.
Not rotating positions all over the field. Like that, because that plays a big factor.
It does.
When you're talking about Major League Baseball.
So you got Wynn as your batting average leader, 299.
Yeah.
Like he's hovering around 300.
So he's probably looking at it right now. If I were to say our leading All-Star candidate,
I'd have to.
I mean, it had to be Mason Wynn.
I would think so.
Absolutely.
Gorman has 15 home runs.
Yeah.
And 33 RBIs. He leads the Cards in home runs and RBIs.
He's been hitting the cover off the ball.
He has.
He's been hitting the cover off the ball.
But man, he is susceptible to that high fastball.
Oh, he is. He really. But I mean, a lot of those guys at his height, like when you look at him at his height, and that batting stance.
He's going to mash that.
Yeah, he has that
every
batting
time.
stance, and it comes right in your eyes, and you see it so well. You see it, but you can't catch up to it. That's why it's a pitcher's delight when you throw that high fastball.
Yeah, you get that heat up in their
is.
eyes, and like, oh.
It is a pitcher's delight every single time.
And then when he flails away at that breaking ball.
Yeah. Well, because once it gets you up high, then you're susceptible. You go that breaking ball outside. I mean, you just can't. You can't catch either one.
I believe he struck out 4 times last night.
I think so.
Last night. It wasn't good. But yeah, I mean, the Cardinals, they're right in the thick of things. We've got 90. Let's see, they played 67. We've got 95 games left. We're not even halfway through.
Yeah, haven't got even the All-Star break. Just past Memorial Day. So I mean, let's see. We got a long way to go. Haven't hit the trade deadline. So a lot of things can happen in baseball in that period of time. Just a whole lot of things. So,
right.
Really, they just need one like solid starter to solidify there. Which actually it was funny because coming out of the bullpen, backing up Palante's start the other night, Matthew Liberatore actually looked really well.
He looks great. I mean, when he comes out of the ball, you can't have him start the game.
Can't have him start the game. And so maybe that's his role. Is like he's a long reliever.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a 3
and he's been good at it.
Yeah, he's been very good as a long reliever. Kind of how Steven Matz fell in that role, where he became really good at long relief.
Palante actually had a good start. I mean, he had a bad one sandwiched in between. But
I mean, that's going to happen. It's baseball, baby.
Oh, and there was another thing, too. With Lance Lynn's 5 strikeouts today, he passed Matt Morris for 6th place all-time in the Cardinals
strikeouts. No shit.
I would have never thought.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big throwing hoss. I mean, so you know what? I mean, that's a name from the past, though. Matt Morris. He was silently a very good Cardinal pitcher. One more Cardinal trivia note. I got this for you. Put it down in the comments if you know the answer.
What is the Cardinal pitcher that led the league in wins one season, and then the very next season led the league in losses?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
And it's happened recently.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one. That's a very good one. Led the league in wins, and led the team in wins.
Led the league in wins. The National League in wins 1 year, and then the very next year led the league in losses.
Ooh, I had to think about that one. I had to dive deep into the bank for that one. That's a good,
and it's happened recently.
That's a good one. I like that. Submit your answers in the comments.
Submit your answers. Don't cheat, but I mean, if you want to, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, but either way, just contribute. All right.
That's all I got for the Cardinals today.
All right, so the next up, we go to dive into some Blues action before we jump into these final series here. The Blues action, they had a big announcement today.
They did.
Big announcement today that we had Doug Armstrong is basically he's grooming Alexander Steen into being the next GM in waiting. So he's going to be the assistant to the GM for these next 2 years.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. This is going to be a really cool move going forward for the organization. And Armstrong's explanation to it was that he always looks at it what's best for the Blues. And for him, he said, I could have done this job for another 10 years. But basically, I looked at it as
he said it's time for a change.
It's time for a change. It's time to move on. He's got somebody who was a part of the organization, very intricate part of the organization, but intricate part of bringing the Stanley Cup to the St. Louis Blues, and getting a hands-on opportunity to see how he does the job. So with that being said, I have the top 5 moves that Armstrong has made. The top 5 moves Armstrong has made. All right, and this is actually through HockeyWriters.com that I went through this. So this isn't all on me, but it's just basically according to HockeyWriters.com because Armstrong made a lot of really good moves with the Blues. But the number 5 move that he made was Eric Brewer. Eric Brewer to the Tampa Bay Lightning for the 3rd round pick, and that 3rd round pick was Jordan Bennington in 2011.
Now, a lot of people don't realize that because the Eric Brewer hate was strong.
It was because I think we acquired him for Eric Johnson, wasn't it from the Avalanche?
No, that was a Shattenkirk trade.
Oh, okay.
Brewer was God, wasn't that the Pronger fucking trade?
No, I don't know. I just remember I remember everybody was happy for him to get out of town. But then they're like, what? Jordan?
That was the Doug Waite and Brewer came over for Pronger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so everybody was happy to see him go. So that was the number 5 pick according to HockeyWriters.com.
Okay.
All right, and so Jordan Bennington, we saw it happen. Obviously, part of the
Cup
Stanley
winner.
Cup. Yep, Cup winner. So then the number 4 pick was Jay Bouwmeester from Calgary, from the Calgary Flames for Mark Condary, Rito Berra, and the 1st round pick, Ernie Poirier.
Yeah, nobody
none of these names. None of these fucking names. We know Jay Bouwmeester.
I remember the second guy you said only because he was Rito Berra. He was a goalie. He was supposed to be pretty good, but he just never could climb on the
and
minors.
never made it into the NHL whatsoever. So that was in 2013. So then 2017, this was a huge one here. This guy's still on the team, one of the leaders and one of your captains for the team, Braden Shin from the Flyers.
Oh, yeah, the Flyers.
And this was a very quiet move, too, as well.
He hoodwinked the Flyers.
Yes, he hoodwinked the Flyers on that one, too. Because this was Yuri Laterra. It wasn't Yuri Laterra. Wasn't he the drug dealer?
Guy, yeah.
He wasn't that. I was like, when I heard it, I was like, that was the drug dealer move right there. Like, we got the drug dealer off like from the Russian KHL. Yeah, so Yuri Laterra, first-round pick, Joel Farabee, Morgan Frost, another first-round pick in 2018.
Which Morgan Frost has actually turned out to a good player.
Well, but again, Braden Shin was very interested in bringing that in the
we don't
Cup
win the Cup without him.
Yeah, we don't win the Stanley Cup without him. So, like, Braden Shin, that was the number 3 move. The next one, the number 2 move, which I was kind of like, okay, this is pretty high, only because of the productivity for the team overall. But Paul Buchnevich for Sammy Blais. That was from the Rangers. So that was the number 2 pick.
It was a great deal.
It was a great deal.
I don't know that I'd put that number 2.
I know. I thought that was a little high. I thought that was a reach at all. But number 1, I think unanimously overall, number 1 for the number 1 pick here. Everybody will say, yes, this was fucking the right pick. Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly, your captain of the team, your Conn Smythe winner for the Blues, to the Sabres for Patrick Berglund, Vladimir Sobotka, and Tage Thompson. And Thompson, who's turned out to be a stud, but when at the time he was only 19 years old.
Yeah.
You didn't know his career could have gone either way right there. So to get somebody who's a captain of your team, Conn Smythe winner, leader of your organization.
I'll make that trade.
Make that trade over and over and over again. Fuck Tage Thompson, anything you're doing right now in your career. Good on you, brother, but you haven't won a Stanley Cup yet.
Nope,
so.
and you won't in Buffalo.
Yeah, we got our cup here. So, that was the top 5 moves for Army.
Okay.
He's still going to be in the building. He's still going to be around. So
because he signed a 3-year extension.
Yeah, so that's what makes you feel even better that he actually gets to groom his successor, somebody that he actually brought into the organization, got to see how he runs the organization. He's going to continue to see how he runs the organization from a first-hand basis.
And Steen's been in the system still. He's been your overseas scout in Sweden. That's why we've been signing a lot of these Swedish players.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I like the moves. I like that direction and where they're going.
I like that.
All right, so then the next thing here, while we're on hockey, why don't you go ahead and dive into these NHL finals here?
Florida just dominated them first 2 games. They really 3-0 shutout, and I get it. Like Florida might have not dominated, Bobrovsky dominated.
Yeah, Bobrovsky had a beautiful game.
He stood on his head, 3-0 shutout.
Yeah.
Game 2, that was pure Florida.
That was domination, and you know what? I have to tip my cap to Edmonton though. They tried to take it to him.
They did.
I mean, physically, they tried to take it to him. I mean, I didn't see Draisaitl like I've never seen Draisaitl do like a move.
Edmonton's just not that team.
They're not. They're trying. They're trying to fight him.
And McDavid had some words about Kachuk.
Yeah,
and it's like you've had 1 point so far, and I get it. You've only scored 1 goal, and McDavid was part of it. So
we'll see tonight.
It's on home ice. So if the Oilers gonna win a game, it's got to be tonight.
It's got to be tonight. Otherwise, series over.
It is. It'll be a gentleman's sweep.
Yes, absolutely.
Or just an outright sweep.
Yeah, or outright sweep, one or the other. So, all right.
Yeah, I mean that's about all we got on hockey. I mean Florida really is dominating.
Yeah,
everybody is dominating on that team. When you've got Evan Rodriguez stepping up and scoring 2 goals in a game, he's your third line winger.
Yeah, it's just a dominant performance right now. And so speaking of dominating performances. So we got the Celtics and the Mavs here in the NBA Finals.
Oh man, this has not turned out to be a series at all.
Neither one right now, and we need it to be because otherwise we got nothing but baseball for the next month. We got nothing but baseball. So, but unfortunately, we got 3-0 here right now. So last night, I think everybody got the full ire of Luka Doncic and his bitching and complaining and crying about every foul, every call. And he's a defensive liability, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the Celtics are just playing fucking dominant basketball. They really are. I mean, and their secret weapon and the secret signing for them actually was Drew Holiday. Mm-hmm. He is one of the best defensive guards, on and off the ball. Because one of the reasons why Dallas's offense isn't working right now is they're a big pick and roll team and they look for mixed matches. You cannot screen Drew Holiday. No. You cannot screen him. He fights around those screens more than anybody. Allows the Celtics to keep their defensive integrity all the way around when they're playing this game. And, I mean, it's a hard contention for them to try to figure out how to match them up because when you don't have Kyrie or Luka going, or either both of them going at the same time. That's just,
their secondary scoring options are just
they're minimal,
nowhere near,
especially to what Boston has. Right. I mean, when you got Drew Holiday that doesn't have to be a bucket filler, but he can fill up buckets. Mm-hmm. Concentrate on defense because he's got Jason Tatum and he's got Jaylen Brown, Derek White on it, to be able to also produce on the perimeter. I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster. So that's where we're at 3-0 right now. One game away for them to get another championship up there in Beantown.
So if they end up sweeping, they'll have gone 80-20 on the season.
Yeah.
100 games even.
Yeah.
80-20.
It's a dominant performance. That's a dominant performance.
That is dominating.
It really is. It's a dominant performance.
I mean, where do you don't rank them up there with some of the all-time great
No,
teams,
I wouldn't put them up there with like some of the Kobe and Shaq teams. Even when you look at a lot of times some people always want to throw that Golden State team that went 72-9. But they didn't win the championship though. 73-9. They didn't win a championship. That Bulls team 72-10. No, nobody touches that. And I mean that 72-10 team.
That's the best team.
I mean that to me that was the best team we saw all time. Both sides of the court. Mm-hmm. You had Michael, you had Scotty, you had Rodman, and you had Ron Harper. I mean they all the way around that team. Like defensively was so tight, mm-hmm. And then offensively their execution was so crisp. You really couldn't stop that. So to me. Like top to bottom as a dominating standpoint, that's probably the best team that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
I would have to agree.
But I mean, we also have to I respect what the Celtics are doing this season. I mean, the East wasn't the strongest going into it.
Right,
a lot of people went down with injuries, but every challenge has been in their face. They faced it. They've taken it down, and right now they're one game away from the championship.
You can say whatever you want about any winners of any time. I mean, at the end of the day, they got it done, and they won that title. Mm-hmm. They had to beat the teams to get there. So
absolutely. And before we move on from the NBA, too, I also want to say a shout-out to RIP. We had Bill Walton that passed a week ago, but we also lost another great, that's Jerry West.
The emblem.
The logo. The logo. Jerry West. We lost another great in basketball here. So shout-out to those guys, RIP. You guys did well with your careers, with your life, influences on a lot of people's lives, basketball-wise, personal-wise. Shout out to those guys there. You know, job well done on your life and a good life well living. So I know Jerry West was battling some health issues the last year or so. Died peacefully at home with his wife. So, R.I.P. to Jerry West.
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's all I got on that end, Bobby Lights, on basketball, covering that stage. All right, so then we got a little NFL news. Not a whole lot of news, but
no, not much.
We're in the fantasy zone now, which is your wheelhouse.
We
right
are.
now,
The Falcons got a big fine today.
Ooh,
$250,000 coming off the books, and they lose a fifth-round draft pick.
Yeah.
And the GM got fined $50,000.
No shit.
So this relates to Cousins and two other players for tampering. Free agency, and the Eagles had no fine. So supposedly they were saying they tampered with Barkley.
Yeah.
They found nothing there. But they also said in the statement that they could reopen the case if they wanted to. So there might be something there.
It might be, but probably not.
But probably. That's really all I got on the NFL news.
Yeah.
I do have my running back rankings.
All right, let's get into it.
So obviously, these all come off of ESPN because that's who we run our fantasy site through. McCaffrey, number one. That's not even.
Yeah, it goes without saying.
If I get the number one pick, that's my
goes
boy.
without saying. That's one bad part of having the number one pick. You have to take that.
Yeah, you almost have to take him. At number two, they have Breece Hall. I think this might be a little high. Actually.
No, I think that's exactly right.
You think so?
I think that's exactly right. If I don't get Chris McCaffrey, I'm taking Breece Hall.
You're taking Breece Hall,
especially with the healthy Aaron Rodgers back this season. You saw what Breece Hall did.
He was phenomenal.
You saw what Breece Hall did coming off an ACL and with horrible quarterback play. I mean, he was still explosive.
Okay.
So I think that was right.
All right, number three, it's Robinson from the Falcons.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
You still got Algier sucking off fucking some of the workload down there.
I think so, but I mean, as far as like where their offense is, they actually have a quarterback now that they can't load the box up anymore. And Bijan Robinson is a stud.
He is, without a doubt. At number four, see, this is where I think Taylor at number four is too high myself.
You think so?
I think Richardson's going to cut into some of that with his running.
Well, maybe he might be a touchdown vulture to a little bit, like in the red zone.
Most of your points come off of touchdown.
Yeah, so I can see that being an issue, touchdown vulture wise. But with that offense too, as well, you're going to have a lot of read option with Steichen as your head coach.
I'm really interested in what the Colts look like.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they look. I mean, because I think Jonathan Taylor, he could be like a hit or miss.
Right,
he could be a hit or miss, especially like
because last year he was kind of a miss for coming off that.
He had the holdout, injury holdout, whatever we want to call it. But
he got off to a slow start, but he picked it up at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, that can go either way on that one.
At number five, we have Barkley with the Eagles. I totally agree agree with this.
Yes.
Barkley is probably going to be a top 5 running back.
See, now that one I could probably see sliding Barkley over Taylor.
Over Taylor?
Yes, I can see sliding Barkley over Taylor, but that's just my own perception on it. But I mean, they probably apples and oranges, you know. So.
Number 6, they've got Kyrene Williams going in number 6 for the Rams.
I like that. I like that pick.
He really was the workhorse for that.
You know, I worried about that. Obviously, I'm being a Notre Dame fan. Right. I'm watching him during his college career. He's actually a St. Louis local boy. Shout out Vianney High School here. I mean, Kyrene Williams, he was a stud coming out of high school and college. But I didn't know if he was going to have the speed NFL wise. But he seemed to learn how to run that downhill. No hesitation, hit the hole, and pick your spots and go. And that makes up for him not having that burst of a long distance because he's not one of those guys that's going to bust an 80-yard run on you. Right. But if he keeps hitting that yards and get that consistency of removing the chains, basically, yes, I like that.
So at number 7, we've got Jahmyr Gibbs off the Lions. Mm-hmm. I think this one might actually be a little high because you've got Montgomery.
Yes, you still got Montgomery there. Yes.
You've got Montgomery, and they were both excellent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that run game for Detroit is really a solid run game.
There's no reason that Montgomery should lose any snaps.
Yeah, he shouldn't, but they're also what I can see is a projection of them actually implementing more in the offense now that he Gibbs
he was a rookie last year.
Yeah, he was a rookie last year, so I can see them implementing a little bit more explosive plays for him in the offense. So I can see that being why they maybe lean that way.
At number 8, we got Pacheco. This one I just don't, because you never know what the Chiefs are going to do.
You don't, and I never trust Andy Reid when it comes to running the ball. Andy Reid does not like to run the ball. Andy Reid runs the ball out of necessity, not because he wants to. If Andy Reid could throw the ball every fucking down, Andy Reid would throw the ball every fucking down.
I think Pacheco might be a little high on this one. Etienne at number 9. Out of the Jags. I mean, he's their bell cow back.
Wow.
Number 9. Yeah, Etienne at number 9.
So please tell me Derrick Henry's got to be number 10.
Derrick Henry, number 10.
I was going to fucking say.
Yeah, no.
This is Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson with Patrick Ricard.
This is not my rankings. This is ESPN's rankings. They've got Henry at 10. I actually could see with him in Baltimore this year. He could be a top 5.
Okay, please slide on down to number 10 if I end up in the back of somebody's draft.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Please. I would take Derrick Henry.
This one I do not agree with. I think he's taken a step back. Just the injury. Kamara at number 11.
No, yeah.
And you've got Keandre Miller down there. I know he was injured last year, but he's a decent running back. Yeah. If he can stay on the field, he's going to eat into Kamara's touches. I don't think Kamara comes in at an 11.
Kamara, they're in a kind of a offensive purgatory, so to speak, down in New Orleans because you got Derek Carr at your quarterback. Dennis Allen is Dennis Allen still a coach this year? They didn't fire him.
They did not fire him.
So you still got Dennis Allen down there, who's a defensive guy. So they're really kind of in limbo as far as their scheme offensively wise. You got Chris Olave, he can stretch the field, but again, you got Derek Carr as your quarterback, so you're going to deal with a lot of people in the box. But you also got Alvin Kamara knowing that he's playing for his last little bit of money here too as well.
I mean, he could surprise us this year.
He definitely could, but I mean, again, like I said, I feel like they're in a little bit of offensive purgatory.
He fell off that touchdown wagon last year.
Oh, yeah.
So.
That was the Saints. That was a byproduct of the Saints offense as a whole too, as well. So I mean, that's a tough one.
So at number 12, we've got Joe Mixon and the Texans. I think Joe Mixon actually could turn in a top.
Joe Mixon could have a sneaky good season. He really could, especially from a touchdown aspect.
Because the Texans had no running game.
No, because they had
Singletary was terrible. Pierce was terrible.
And Singletary, the only reason why Singletary actually even had a prominent role. Because Damian Pierce was such a disappointment.
Oh, he was awful.
He had high promise. I remember actually being mad that I didn't get him in the draft.
I drafted this.
Oh, I'm so thankful I didn't get him. But you still won your championship anyway. So shout out for your maneuvers, doing off the waiver wire, whatever the hell you did.
Terrible.
He was awful. I think he maybe had 600 yards rushing the whole season. It was bad.
So at 13, we've got White from Tampa Bay.
Okay.
He had the most touches in the NFL last year for running backs.
Okay, Rashad White.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does not have a good yards per carry average.
I never liked that.
He's 3.3, 3.4, 3.5. He doesn't get it done.
He doesn't break long ones.
No,
he doesn't break long ones. So I don't really like that.
So I could see him sliding back.
Yeah.
14 ended up being so I didn't even write it down. It was such a mistake. 15 goes to Cook.
Oh, okay. Dalvin Cook. I mean, no, James Cook. James Cook. Yeah, James Cook out of the Bills. Which he could actually be a sneaky one though. They could actually possibly be a top 5 running back.
Oh, that's what it was. Montgomery ended up coming in at 14.
Oh, Montgomery at 14. Okay,
Montgomery at 14.
Yeah, so James Cook, he's actually a sneaky one. At number 15, I can see him being.
You could see him.
I can see him actually
15?
being in the top 5, top 10.
Oh, top 5.
Yeah, 10. Yeah. And the only reason why I say that is because the Buffalo's gonna have to change their philosophy a lot this year now. They don't. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, because they don't have the digs.
Yes, I mean, let's see what happens with Keon Coleman on how much of a threat he's going to be down the field. Everything, new draft, but he's a rookie, so let's see. You got 2 tight ends with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. So I mean, there's really not a big downfield presence.
Right.
So James Cook's going to definitely have to take a prominent role. Which once they fired Ken Dorsey last year,
he took on.
Yes, he took on a lot more of the load. So let's see. I mean, and I know hopefully his biggest thing has been his Achilles heel in the NFL has been the fumbles. So if he learns to protect the football and not fumble the fucking ball and lose the trust of his coaches, then, I mean, he's going to keep getting his opportunities to produce. So that's the only reason why I see him potentially being a sneaky,
okay. I like it. And at 16, this was Shane. I think he takes the predominant role in that Dolphins backfield this year. I mean, Mostert's not going anywhere. But he's another year. He's like 33 years old.
Right. Oh, you talking about was it Achan or
Achan?
Yeah, Achan. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of controversy on how to pronounce that name.
I don't know. I call it Shane.
Go back to Chuba Chuba again.
Chuba Chuba. So that was the top 15 actually in projected points. But then I wrote down where they were ranked.
Okay.
So some other ones that were not included. You've got Moss for the Bengals coming in at 29.
Okay.
He's going to be a top 15 running back this year.
Here's my only problem with Zach Moss.
You think Chase Brown takes?
No. My problem with Zach Moss that I had with Zach Moss, watching him run, the years he was with Buffalo, I know he had a great stretch with Indianapolis right there, but that Shane Steichen offense is very like running back friendly, very run game friendly. He runs kind of high. Okay. And so he kind of falls in that same category. Better than, but not as bad as what's the dude from that took over from Minnesota last year for Dalvin Cook?
Chandler.
No, not Chandler.
Madison.
Alexander Madison.
Madison.
Like he kind of like very similar running styles as a running back. So that's the only reason why I kind of like. Let's see with Zach Moss. I mean, I'd have to see a little bit more productivity before I'd be totally sold on that. If I got him, if we have a 14-team league, if I got him as my 3rd or 4th running back,
you wouldn't be upset, Bob.
I wouldn't be upset if I got him as like a 3rd or 4th running back, but that's like 1 or 2. That's.
I mean, really, because it's just Chase Brown that's going to be cutting into his. Yeah, Chase Brown didn't show me much last year.
It's just more about what he can produce because I'm still not sold on what the Bengals have done to improve their offensive line yet either. That is true. That's been their biggest problem that they dealt with, and luckily they got Joe Burrow who knows how to navigate around that. But we'll see.
And this is the one team that did not have a running back in the top 30, the Chargers. So Gus Edwards signed with them.
Yeah,
he put in 5 decent seasons with. He has never averaged under 4.1 yards a carry.
The Gus Bus can do it. They're going to have the offensive line. This
is the funny part because they have Edwards and Dobbins out there.
Yes, they're going to have Edwards and Dobbins. So 2 former Ravens running backs.
Two former Ravens running backs.
They're going to have the running backs behind him. I like Harbaugh. I love the way he coaches his philosophy. They're going to pound you. They're going to go after you. It's
just which one of those come out because they've got Spiller, who they drafted 2 seasons ago.
Yeah,
he has done nothing.
Yeah, I mean he's a 3rd down back at best.
And they drafted that rookie Vidal this year out of Troy.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens. But yes, I mean, Gus Edwards, I mean, he's probably going to be
coming in at 36.
Yeah, he's going to probably, but I mean, I can see that is if J.K. Dobbins comes back like healthy.
That's really unfortunate.
Which is a big if thing because he's had 2 knee and Achilles.
Yeah,
like last year was Achilles.
Yeah, last year was the Achilles. Those are 2 things. Was the year before.
Seeing somebody who I'm going to be 45 this year, Bobby. I went to orthopedic today.
Right,
motherfucker said, "All right, yeah, man, your running days are over." I was he's like, "You're not bone on bone." Shit's arthritic, and it's like, stop jump roping and shit. That's why I've been wearing. I wore that sleeve on my calf the other day. I tried to get my jump rope on. That's why I was doing that. He's still a young man. He's still a pro athlete. When you start suffering injuries like that, man, there's a certain. It's like having a car. I always explain that with people with their bodies. It's like having a car. You get your car in an accident. When you first take that car off the lot, it runs real smooth. You get in an accident after about, let's say, a year or 2.
It's not the same.
Once you fix it, it's never going to run the same. Same thing with the fucking human body, man. It's never going to run the same. So we'll see. But, if he gets another year or 2 out of his body to get some more NFL checks.
Yeah, get a couple more NFL checks. Because I don't think he's going to make it, 10 years to get invested?
10 years, I think it's like 4 years to get vested. But 10 years is where you get the pension, where it's like
Right.
300 something
Okay.
thousand a year for the rest of your fucking life or whatever it is,
That's
so something like
crazy.
that. But that's a tall
No,
task.
that's
a
you
tall.
you gotta make it.
And those owners aren't stupid too. They know some of them dudes that are like, man, I ain't.
I don't wanna pay that.
He's been in the league 8 years. No, I ain't signing that dude. You know. So I mean, they didn't get to be billionaires for no reason.
No,
So,
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else?
Yes,
oh
I
yeah,
did,
we're talking
U.S.
about
Open. We got the U.S. Open. To wrap up with a little bit of golf here. So what I got here is just basically the gambling odds right now. This is the first day of the tournament. Who gives a fuck on what place you're at? Everybody knows who follows golf, though. This is one of the toughest tournaments of the year because the greens are a lot smaller.
There's been some funny shots.
It's been like, if you look at any of these shots, get online and look at any of these shots. Like, watch out. They did a lot of sample ball rolls off the greens right now. I mean, it's a dangerous tournament as far as, like, this is the one where the pros get embarrassed and more frustrated. And this is why I think most people like to watch this more than anything else, because it makes you feel like the pros actually feel like you.
This was the one where Mickelson stopped his putt when he blew past it by the hole and he ran down there and just whacked it in the air.
I mean, this is where you see the most professional golfer frustration out of any tournament. So what I have here is I got Rory as a favorite here right now for this week at plus 400, which he actually reconciled his marriage. You know, they called off the divorce, they called off the divorce and reconciled. So no revenge, Rory. Maybe it's going to be happy Rory, reconciliation Rory.
He's sitting at -3 right now.
Okay, -3 for Rory. So so they got him at plus 400.
Tied for second place.
Okay, so he's at plus 400 for the favorites. Vegas always fucking knows. They always know. They probably had a little inside track on that,
probably
on those rekindled nuptials. So let's see what happens. Then of course we got Scotty Scheffler, the stud. Scotty Scheffler at plus 500 as like your next favorite there.
He is at +1.
He's at +1.
He didn't have a good round today.
But Scheffler can always come back from the depths. Scheffler is one of those guys. I mean, he can go on a 6-7 hole run, and all of a sudden you're like, fucking Scotty Scheffler's back there, one hole back, breathing down my neck. So then you got Bryson DeChambeau. He's at plus 700. This is not a tournament made for DeChambeau. This is not a tournament that's made for DeChambeau.
It's not, and he actually had a really good round today. It was -3.
Okay, and which is. That's surprising for him.
Yeah,
so,
he's tied with Rory for second place.
Can he sustain it? That's going to be the big thing.
You know he can hit the shit out of the ball.
Yeah, he can hit the shit out of the ball, but usually his short game, the irons aren't really his strong suit. So let's see what happens there. Now, my sleeper, if I was to take a bet on anybody this week, if I want to do a long shot, because you know me, Bobby. I like plus 500.
Like the long shots.
I love
the long shots.
I love Tony Finau. It's plus 2,800.
I didn't even look there.
Yes, I did. Plus 2,800 Tony Finau.
Okay.
If I were to take anybody as a long shot, odds to go creep back into it. I don't know where he's sitting right now in the tournament.
Let's see.
That's who I would take because, you know, putting his golf game together the last few tournaments, he's looked fairly respectable. Except for that when I went for him in the no, was that the Masters I went for? No, it wasn't the Masters.
Oh, you did Hovland.
Yeah, Hovland. Yeah, Victor Hovland. He fucking he didn't even barely made the cut. I think. But my long shot out would be
Your
Tony
leader
Finau.
today is Cantley right now at -5.
Okay.
And you asked who that was?
Yeah.
I've heard his name, but I really don't know.
No clue. Anything on MotoGP, Dave?
Tony Finau.
No race this week.
Hey, your guy's tied for 6th right now.
Finau is?
Yep,
Okay,
Finau,
that's it.
tied
Plus
for
2,800.
6th.
Plus 2,800. If you want some big odds, baby.
That bet would be looking really
good.
Yeah,
that bet would look really nice. So, you look Tony Finau. So that's all I got for this sports world this week, brother.
That's all I got, actually. We did a pretty good job.
Yeah. So we covered everything. Ready to go. Bear this heat. Fucking get through this next month or so.
Yep.
We got 90-degree weather.
Wide receivers next week.
All right. Dive into wide receivers. Hey, we're going to need to do a big segment on wide receivers.
Oh, yeah. It'll be more than 15.
Because Lord knows these fucking finals are going to be over and shit. We're going to get baseball only, baby. And let's come on to training camp.
Oh, I know.
That's why they call these the dog days of summer.
Dog days.
In my world, dog days of summer. But thanks again for tuning in with us.
Thank you guys, for sure.
We appreciate you guys supporting us. Like and subscribe, add to that comment section. Shout out to Director Dave, True on the Track. I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.